What's up guys, Will here and welcome to part 2 of starting a successful print-on-demand business on Etsy. So in this part, this is where things start to get fun. I will talk about the importance of establishing your niche, actually adding products to your store, and of course one of the most important parts that will make or break your store, Etsy SEO. That is how you will be driving traffic and sales to your store. Let's get into it. So when you first get started, you're going to want to establish a niche, but keep in mind that when you're first starting out, your niche should stay relatively broad. You don't want to get too specific before you have any data. Rather, stay relatively broad at first. Feel free to experiment. And then based on what does well, what kinds of products get more views and sales, then optimize and create a more narrow niche and make more of what works. So a niche is useful because by your products being related, first of all, there's a greater chance that a customer will be a return customer by multiple products, but also when one of your products is doing well, related products are likely to also be boosted in search rankings on Etsy. So a good niche has moderate search traffic and competition, not too much, not too little. And it's a good idea until your shop is very established to start with a subcategory. So for example, I would recommend your niche being pug t-shirts rather than dog t-shirts. That's just an example. Because taking over the term, dog t-shirts is going to be near impossible until you have a bunch of authority, which you get from having a lot of sales and whatnot. So pug t-shirts would be a good moderate search traffic, moderate competition type niche. Once you figure that out, you could start adding products to your store. I'm going to bring you through the process. I'm not going to show you how to get designs because, long story short, you don't need much design skill. Seriously, I will say this. Someone with minimal design skill but good Etsy SEO, which I will get to shortly, is going to do better than the greatest artist who doesn't know how to get people to find them. You could literally make text designs like, I love my Irish dad or things like that. If you were targeting an Irish niche or whatever, you could buy designs for very cheap, and with basic skill, you could do a lot on Photoshop. But anyway, I'm going to quickly take you through the process. So once your store is integrated between Printful and Etsy, which I showed you how, you would very simply add a product. Give it a second. So then you could choose what kind of product you want it on. So, I'm just going to take you guys through it very quickly, but this isn't really the main point. Obviously, you would put your own design. But drop your design. So I'm just going to put something I already have here. This melting smiley face. Okay, whatever. Here. I'm not trying to make it look good right now. Okay, I don't really care. This is just for the sake of the example. You could have it go on many colors, many sizes, etc. You could have it embroidered. You could play around with this, see how it works. But essentially here is where you would do your things. Discontinued sizes and weird, whatever. Okay, proceed to mockups. So then this right here will be the mockup image pushed to your store. So I only have it in white right now, but if you had multiple, you could change which color would be the default image. I personally don't like using any of these mockups. I like using a flat mockup or a flat lifestyle or wrinkled, because these models are pretty generic. A lot of people use Printful on Etsy and it's just obvious, especially if you use a bunch of different products with the same mockup image of the same model in the same place. I think it's stupid. Anyway, proceed to details. So this is where I'm now going to explain Etsy SEO. So now Etsy SEO, which is the most important thing, it's what will make or break your store regardless of if the designs are absolutely amazing. So listen, first thing you have to know is the long tail keywords, because in short, they are the most important thing to Etsy SEO. So I will explain what that means first so that when I use the term later, you will have a good understanding of what it means. So basically, long tail keywords are usually more targeted, usually multi-word keywords or search terms. So they have less search volume than more general keywords. For example, cute pug t-shirt is a long tail keyword and has less search volume than t-shirt, but they have a higher conversion rate and lower competition. So for example, I have another example here. Cute t-shirt is a generic t-shirt and flower embroidered summer tee is a long tail keyword. So obviously people search cute t-shirt more, but if you have a flower embroidered tee, people searching for flower embroidered summer tee are going to find you much quicker. There's much less competition on that actual search term, and also they were searching for that more specifically. So despite the lower search volume, there is a much higher conversion rate. So you want to be using long tail keywords, especially when you are a small store, because you can't even take over the generic keywords at the beginning anyway. So yes, long tail keywords are essential to success on Etsy. Now let's get into Etsy SEO. So you have your design, you went through the steps on Printful, now it's time to add your title, description, and tags. So this is the most important part in driving traffic and sales to your store. You don't have to pay for paid ads, you just need to master your Etsy SEO. So listen up, this is probably the most important part of the series. So here are some do's and don'ts. I'm going to go first with the title, then description, then tags. So first with the title, you want to include multiple search terms / long tail keywords, which I talked about earlier, in your title. You don't want to just have a very short title because it's more aesthetically pleasing. It is not a good idea, I promise you. I learned this the hard way. So for example, if you had a pug t-shirt, you would want to have a title something like, have your most descriptive title at the beginning. I get you obviously want to do that. I usually have a divider. Notice how there's like kind of a line dividing the main title. You could do that. You don't even have to. You could just use commas, but I personally do because I find it cleaner. So have your main most descriptive, title, like a listing title of what your product is, followed by a few more search terms / long tail keywords in your title. Dog lover gifts, puppy teas, whatever. You see what I did there? So yeah, that's very important. Then in your description, repetition is something that's so important. So you want to repeat your long tail keywords in your description. Obviously you don't want to be spammy, but conveniently throw them in, For example, this pug t-shirt is ideal for dog lovers. Show your love for these cute puppies and add this t-shirt to your collection of dog clothing. You see, by repeating the same long tail keywords, they hold more weight, making them more likely to rank higher on Etsy. Repetition is key. So obviously the don't would be to have a very generic description that doesn't have any keywords. So then, of course, for tags, what do you think? Use long tail tags. Also you want to make sure that you're repeating them as much as possible. You want your main keywords, your long tail keywords, to be repeated as much as possible so they hold more weight so that you could actually take over those keywords. So for example, some good tags would be pug t-shirt, dog lover gifts, cute puppy shirt, pug clothing. You don't want to use broad or single word tags like dog, pugs, t-shirt, puppy. When you're doing that, essentially it's making Etsy think that you're trying to rank at the top for dog. And if you're a new store on Etsy, the top results for dog have like thousands and thousands of sales. That's ridiculous. This all goes back to the long tail keywords, but yeah, this is very important. I'm actually going to now show you a tool where you could actually find long tail keywords and see how you should actually be using your titles, tags, descriptions based on your product. It's really cool. It's free. I'm going to show you right now. So the tool is called eRank. They have a free and a paid version, but in my experience, I've only ever used the free version. They have more than enough. They have so many tools, including an audit tool where they could actually look at all of your listings, give an SEO grade A through F, and show you exactly how to improve it. They have a bunch of tools, but looking at the keyword tool, for example, I entered psychedelic hoodie, looking for a psychedelic hoodie, keyword analysis. It shows me they analyzed 100 listings, average price, average daily views, but this is where it gets fun. So as you can see, give me a bunch of recommended keywords and their Etsy competition. So here is what I have to tell you guys. So most long tail keywords, you'll notice they are in the green or yellow zone. I like most of my keywords, especially in my tags, to be in the green or yellow. I don't like to just have only low green because that represents low search volume. Of course, low competition, but when the competition's too low, probably not much demand for it either. So I like to keep it mostly in the greens and some yellows, maybe 1 or 2 reds. Not that I would use hoodie. As you can see, keywords as you can see, the red keywords are just very broad, not ones I would recommend. And so yeah, I recommend using eRank for a bunch of your Etsy SEO needs. And here's just one of their numerous keyword tools that you can use. So using the SEO advice and tools I provided you with, you would fill up everything here, of course, and then you would proceed to pricing, choose how much profit you would want to make, and then submit to store. Give it a second here. I'll put a timestamp if it takes a while to where you should skip to, but essentially here's where it would show up on your Etsy shop dashboard. It would show up in your drafts. We'll give it a second to load here. If it takes too long, it doesn't really matter. It's just for the sake of the example. Essentially, you would then want to publish it. And also, none of your SEO is final. You could change it at any point. You could edit your listings from Etsy's end too. But if you do edit your prices or stock or whatnot, you want to do that from Printful's end. There's a sync button on the dashboard, and it's very simple. But that actually wraps up this part. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Part 3 will be out very soon. This part was very important because, as I made very clear, Etsy SEO is what will make or break your store. But anyway, thanks again, and I'll catch you guys soon.